So I played at Downlands College in Toowoomba, so I went to boarding school, and I remember hitting a ball so hard that it actually hit the flagpole, which was quite a way away from where I was standing, and the boys were playing, the first 15 boys were playing at the time, which was very unpopular because you weren't supposed to interrupt the first 15 boys. But yeah, so I played a lot of softball at school, and then didn't continue after school because I went overseas and then I travelled, and then I found rugby after that when I returned to Australia, which I love rugby. I'm a passionate rugby fan and a rugby supporter, but sport is sport, and I truly believe that the best way for anybody to be interested in sport at a young age is to have a lot of experience in lots of different sports, and experience catching, passing, running, having fun, being competitive, and then choosing at a little bit later date what sport you really want to focus in. Couple of things. One, I played softball at school. I wasn't very good, but I played softball and I like the sport. So therefore it's a sport that I will enjoy watching. I think there's a lot of aspiration within Softball Australia, and I think there's a lot of work to do in terms of making sure that we're taking the space that softball requires and deserves within the Australian sporting landscape. But yeah, also just looks like it's fun. The organisation is great. I think we're going to be working really hard with our states and our partners to make the sport successful. So I've already been to Queensland. We're actually quite now in New South Wales. I'll be heading down to the ACT all before I get into the national office in Melbourne. So I think it's really important for me to be front facing. It's to understand the challenges not only of the states but the individuals who are front facing. And then I'll get down into the national office and make sure and work with the team down there to progress the really good work that they're already doing, and work with the board and the boards from all the states to make sure that we're listening and states and everybody are being heard. The role of a CEO in a national organisation is never going to be 100% popular because you can never do what everybody wants you to do. But that's okay. I'm not afraid of that, and my role is to make sure that we as a team, and that means everybody in softball across the country, are doing the best for the players and the administrators and all the support staff and everything for the game. I think I like to have fun. I like to make sure that we're working hard. I'm dedicated to success. I want to win, and I want us to be the best. Not only a world-class team on and off the field, but also from an organisational point of view, from our support of our states and our district associations, clubs, everyone, our players, we'll be world class. It might take us a little bit of time, but we need to be world class. I think it's probably lost a bit of its position, particularly in relation to women's sports, because the offer for women's sports is so much wider than it used to be when I was young and playing softball. I think we've got to make sure that we're accessible, that there's no barriers to people being able to participate, men and women, boys and girls. And I think we've just got to have a look at the way that the game is run and also how the game is perceived out there in the ground. It's a very traditional sport, particularly for women, so we've got to make sure that we're modern and we're moving forward and we're offering products that young people want to participate in, but also as important is making sure that we keep the participants that are there now and make sure that they're lifelong participants in the sport in some manner. I think that's a really good question, and I don't think I can answer it yet because I'm not quite sure where it is at the moment. I think we've got to improve our performance on the field. I think we've got to be, both men and women, we've got to be the best. We've got to have a good joined up talent pathway, and we've got to have clubs that are humming full of young people that are playing a lot of competitions and just playing for fun's sake, So I think we've got to increase our participation. We've got to look at our commercial viability. I mean, we've got to be able to support the government agenda in terms of sport, but we've also got to be able to stand on our own 2 feet. So I think that's really important. I think using technology is going to be really important for us. Streaming, getting our game out there, making sure that we're getting a slice of the competitive commercial market is also really important. Yeah, I think come with us on the journey. It's not right now, and it probably, as a national governing body, you're never going to be right. There's never a time where you go, yeah, we're actually doing everything 100% well. but I hope people can come with us on the journey, be part of that growth of softball, and be playing the game for the right reasons. I think one of the key things that I want to make sure is that people are playing it with the right spirit. That we've got teamship and we've got mateship, and we're getting that stuff sorted out, and making sure that everybody's having fun and playing, doesn't matter what level they're playing at. And from an administration point of view, all I ask is give me some time to get my feet under the desk. Give us as a team some time to make sure that the strategy's right, that the budgets are right, that the development program's right, that the player and athlete development stuff is right, and then it won't be long before hopefully the softball community will see some really good positive steps, building on what's been done already.